I have to say, like, I just sort of have luckily fallen upon these universes, and it works. It works for me. I like stories. I like grand stories, and I like mythological figures, and this is exactly what this universe is. And so I love that I get to be in both and play very different characters.
From space adventures to blockbuster heroes, Morena Baccarin's latest transformation has left fans totally amazed. She's no longer just the actress stealing the spotlight. Her life, choices, and career moves have taken unusual, unexpected turns. Whispers about her past relationships, her marriage, motherhood, and even secret plans have fueled speculation everywhere. Could she be reinventing her career? Or is there more behind her personal choices than meets the eye? Journalists and fans alike are trying to piece it together. Join us as we dive into the mind-blowing journey of Morena Baccarin and her new, mysterious chapter. From alien queens to dangerous women in power, Morena Baccarin's transformation did not begin with romance, fashion headlines, or celebrity attention. It began with power, quiet power, the kind that does not shout or rush, but waits patiently and watches. From the very start of her career, Morena Baccarin was drawn toward roles that demanded control, intelligence, and emotional discipline. These early choices slowly shaped her image into something rare and striking. She became known for playing women who looked calm and graceful on the outside, yet carried something deeply intimidating beneath the surface. One of the earliest and most important roles in this transformation was Inara Serra in Firefly. Inara was not loud or aggressive. She spoke softly, moved carefully, and carried herself with elegance. Yet everything about her presence commanded respect. She lived by strict personal rules and never allowed herself to be underestimated. Inara's power came from her emotional awareness and her ability to read people without revealing much of herself. Morena played her with restraint, choosing subtle expressions instead of dramatic outbursts. That choice made Inara unforgettable. Viewers could sense that she always knew more than she showed. What made this role stand out was how it challenged common ideas of strength. Inara did not need physical force or fear to control a room. She used intelligence, self-control, and confidence. Morena's performance made it clear that softness and authority could exist together. This was one of the first signs that she was building a career around complex women rather than simple stereotypes. Soon after, Morena stepped into a very different kind of power with the role of Adria in Stargate SG-1. Where Inara was calm and balanced, Adria was absolute and dangerous. Adria believed she was destined to rule, and she carried that belief with total certainty. Morena did not play her as a wild villain. Instead, she made Adria calm, focused, and convinced of her righteousness. That made her far more frightening. Adria's strength came from belief. She did not doubt herself, even for a moment. Morena used stillness and control to show that confidence. Her expressions were measured. Her voice was steady. There was no need for chaos because Adria believed the universe already belonged to her. This role showed that Morena could move from gentle authority to extreme dominance without losing credibility. She did not abandon subtlety. She sharpened it. The performance also proved that Morena could handle morally complex characters. Adria was not simply evil. She was deeply committed to her mission. Morena played her as someone who truly believed she was doing the right thing. That choice added depth and made the character feel real instead of exaggerated. Audiences could see how dangerous absolute belief could be when paired with intelligence and power. Later, Morena took another major step in this pattern with her role as Anna in V. Anna was polished, charming, and convincing. She presented herself as a leader who wanted peace and cooperation. On the surface, she appeared calm and trustworthy. Underneath, she was calculating and ruthless. Morena leaned fully into this contrast. She made Anna warm enough to attract loyalty, yet distant enough to feel unreachable. This role required careful balance. Anna could never reveal too much too soon. Morena used her expressions, posture, and timing to maintain that tension. Every smile felt deliberate. Every pause felt planned. She made the audience feel uneasy even when the character appeared kind. That ability to create fear without noise became one of her strongest tools as an actress. Across these roles, a clear pattern formed. Morena Baccarin was not chosen randomly to play queens, leaders, or powerful figures. She earned those roles by mastering emotional control. She understood how silence could speak louder than action. She knew how to make intelligence feel threatening without exaggeration. Her performances trusted the audience to pay attention, and that trust paid off. But what happens when an actress known for emotional restraint is thrown into raw political realism? The role that changed how audience looked at her. When Morena Baccarin joined Homeland, everything people thought they knew about her began to shift. For years, audiences had admired her calm strength in science fiction worlds filled with aliens, distant planets, and imagined futures. Homeland placed her somewhere far more unsettling. It brought her into a story rooted in fear, politics, and emotional pain. This was not a world of fantasy. This was a world that felt uncomfortably close to real life, and Morena stepped into it with honesty and courage. In Homeland, Morena played Jessica Brody, the wife of a Marine who had been missing for many years and was presumed dead. During that long absence, Jessica was forced to survive on her own. She raised her children while carrying unanswered questions, deep sadness, and quiet anger. Over time, she formed a romantic bond with someone she trusted, believing her husband would never return. When he suddenly came home, alive but deeply changed, Jessica's world collapsed into confusion. Morena portrayed this emotional storm with careful detail. She did not rush the character's pain. Every reaction felt natural and human. Jessica was not written to be perfect or easy to like. She was messy, unsure, and often torn between duty and truth. Morena leaned into that discomfort. She showed a woman struggling to do the right thing while carrying guilt for choices made in survival, not betrayal. As the story unfolded, the character faced moments that tested not only her marriage, but her understanding of identity and belief. One particular scene caused a powerful reaction across the world. The moment was brief but intense, and it involved a religious object. Many viewers misunderstood the intention behind the scene and directed anger at Morena personally. Social media filled with hateful messages, blaming the actress for actions that belonged to a fictional character within a larger political story. The backlash was sudden and harsh. Morena found herself pulled into a global religious debate she never intended to enter. She was criticized not for her performance, but for how some viewers interpreted a moment taken out of context. Despite this, she did not retreat from the role or soften her portrayal. She continued to play Jessica with honesty, allowing the character's flaws and pain to remain visible. What made this performance so powerful was its emotional accuracy. Jessica was a woman carrying grief, fear, loyalty, and confusion all at once. Morena showed how love can exist alongside resentment and how trust can break slowly instead of all at once. Her acting was quiet, but deeply affecting. She used small changes in expression and posture to show inner conflict. There were moments where silence spoke louder than words. Critics began to notice what longtime fans already sensed. Morena was capable of deep dramatic work far beyond genre television. Her performance did not ask for sympathy. It asked for understanding. That difference mattered. Instead of trying to make Jessica likable, Morena made her real. This choice changed how audiences engaged with the character and the story itself. The industry responded. Morena received an Emmy nomination for her work on Homeland. The recognition marked a major turning point in her career. It showed that her talent could stand strong in one of television's most demanding dramas. The nomination was not just an award moment. It was proof that her transition into serious drama was complete. After Homeland, Morena was no longer spoken of only as a science fiction favorite. She was discussed as a dramatic actress capable of handling complex, sensitive material. The role reshaped her public image. It also showed her willingness to take risks, even when those risks brought criticism and discomfort. While her career was peaking, her personal life was quietly unraveling behind the scenes. Gotham, where fiction, romance, and scandal collided. When Morena Baccarin joined Gotham, it marked a turning point that went far beyond her acting career. On screen, she stepped into a grounded and emotionally complex role. Off-screen, her personal life began to shift in ways that quickly became public. What started as a professional opportunity slowly turned into one of the most talked-about chapters of her life. In Gotham, Morena played Leslie Tompkins, a compassionate doctor working inside a dark and dangerous city. The role was very different from her earlier characters. Leslie was human, vulnerable, and deeply emotional. She lived in a world shaped by crime, fear, and moral struggle. Morena brought warmth and sincerity to the character, making her feel like a steady light in a very broken place. Her performance was calm, thoughtful, and deeply believable. Working closely with her co-star Ben McKenzie, who played Jim Gordon, Morena shared many intense scenes filled with emotional weight. Their characters formed a strong connection on screen, and viewers quickly noticed their natural chemistry. What began as a fictional bond soon became the focus of real-world attention. At the time Gotham began filming, Morena was married to filmmaker Austin Chick. As the show gained popularity, reports surfaced suggesting that Morena and Ben McKenzie had developed a romantic relationship while she was still legally married. Neither Morena nor Ben publicly confirmed exact timelines. However, the overlap between her marriage and her new relationship became a major topic in tabloids and entertainment news. The situation quickly grew complicated. In the middle of rising speculation, Austin Chick filed for divorce. What followed was not a quiet or simple separation. The divorce became highly public, revealing deeply personal details that many private individuals never expect to see discussed openly. One of the most difficult aspects of the divorce was the custody arrangement for their young son, Julius. Both parents sought joint custody, and the legal process stretched over time. Court documents made it clear that Morena was the primary earner during the marriage. Her acting career had provided most of the household income, placing her in a position of financial responsibility that added pressure to an already painful situation. As the proceedings continued, financial disclosures became public. Morena agreed to pay monthly spousal support and child support. These numbers drew attention not because of drama, but because they highlighted a reality that many rarely discuss openly. Being the primary breadwinner in a marriage can come with emotional and financial weight, especially when the relationship ends under public scrutiny. Throughout this period, Morena continued working on Gotham. She showed up consistently, delivering steady performances despite the emotional strain behind the scenes. Her ability to separate personal pain from professional responsibility spoke to her discipline and strength. On screen, she remained focused, never allowing real-life turmoil to affect the quality of her work. As the divorce moved forward, Morena and Ben McKenzie's relationship became more visible. Public appearances confirmed what many had already assumed. Over time, the conversation shifted from speculation to acceptance. What once fueled headlines slowly settled into a new normal. The experience reshaped how the public viewed Morena. She was no longer seen only as a graceful actress or a strong dramatic presence. She became someone navigating real-life challenges under a microscope. The attention was not always kind, but it revealed her resilience. She did not attempt to control the narrative or respond to rumors with anger. Instead, she remained focused on her work and her family. Gotham itself continued to evolve, and so did Morena's role within it. Leslie Tompkins became a character shaped by loss, love, and difficult choices. In many ways, the emotional depth Morena brought to the role reflected the complexity of her life at the time. The performance felt honest because it was grounded in real emotional understanding. Just when the headlines turned harsh, Morena Baccarin made the boldest career pivot of her life. How Deadpool rewrote Morena Baccarin. When Morena Baccarin stepped into the world of Deadpool, her career entered a completely new phase. She was no longer known only to devoted television audiences or science fiction fans. This role pushed her into global pop culture and changed how people talked about her almost overnight. Deadpool did not simply give her more visibility, it reshaped her public image in lasting ways. Morena played Vanessa, a character who could have easily been written as a background figure. In many superhero stories, the love interest exists only to support the hero's journey. Vanessa was different. Morena gave her depth, strength, and emotional intelligence. She was warm and playful, but also sharp and self-aware. She did not exist to be saved. She stood firmly beside chaos and never lost her sense of self. What made this portrayal stand out was balance. The Deadpool universe was loud, fast, and unpredictable. Morena matched that energy without becoming lost in it. Vanessa grounded the story. She reacted like a real person inside an unreal world. Her emotions felt honest. Her choices felt personal. This made the relationship believable and gave the film emotional weight beneath the humor. The success of the film changed everything. Morena suddenly became recognizable to a much wider audience. Fans who had never watched her earlier work now associated her face with one of the most popular superhero films of its time. With that recognition came new attention, new expectations, and new challenges. Her image shifted in the public eye. She was no longer discussed only for her acting skill. She became a topic of fan conversations, online debates, and media focus that centered heavily on appearance. While admiration poured in, it often came with objectification. The character of Vanessa was confident and open, and some fans struggled to separate that fictional persona from the actress herself. Interviews began focusing more on glamour, relationships, and physical presence. Morena remained gracious, but she did not let this attention redefine her entirely. She continued choosing roles that required intelligence and emotional depth, even as her popularity grew. Deadpool also introduced her to a different kind of fan culture. Superhero audiences are passionate and vocal. With that passion came intense interest in her personal life and career decisions. Rumors spread quickly. Online discussions dissected every appearance and comment. Fame brought adoration, but it also invited new rumors she couldn't control. Motherhood in the middle of the storm. As Morena Baccarin's career continued to grow, her personal life moved through a series of changes that slowly reshaped how the public saw her. This chapter of her life was not loud or dramatic in the way headlines often expect. Instead, it unfolded quietly through commitment, responsibility, and the steady rhythm of family life. Over time, these moments softened her image and revealed a side of her that felt grounded and deeply human. In November 2011, Morena married American film producer and director Austin Chick. At the time, her career was stable and respected, and the marriage appeared to fit neatly into a life that balanced creativity and ambition. The couple welcomed a son, and for a while, Morena managed both motherhood and acting without placing either fully in the spotlight. She remained private, sharing little and allowing her work to speak for itself. As the years passed, the relationship began to strain. In July 2015, Austin Chick filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. The separation marked the end of an important chapter in Morena's life. While the process unfolded, public attention returned in ways she had not fully experienced before. Around this same period, Morena began dating her Gotham co-star, Ben McKenzie. Their connection developed while working closely together, and it soon became clear that their bond extended beyond the screen. Not long after, Morena welcomed a daughter. Her arrival came around the same time that the divorce became official, creating a moment of both closure and new beginnings. This period could have been overwhelming. Morena was navigating the end of one marriage, the start of another relationship, and the responsibilities of motherhood. Yet she handled it with remarkable calm. She did not rush to explain herself or respond to every opinion. Instead, she focused on what mattered most: her children and her sense of stability. In November 2016, Morena and Ben McKenzie announced their engagement. The announcement felt gentle rather than grand. It reflected the tone of how Morena had chosen to live her life during this period. There was intention, but no need for spectacle. The following year, on June 2, 2017, the couple married in Brooklyn, New York. She began sharing glimpses of everyday life, moments that were imperfect, joyful, and sometimes chaotic. These small, honest moments reshaped public perception. Morena was no longer seen only as the poised actress who played distant or powerful characters. She became recognizable as a mother juggling schedules, responsibilities, and affection. This contrast between her on-screen authority and off-screen softness made her more relatable than ever. Importantly, this shift was not a withdrawal from fame. Morena did not disappear or step away from her work. She simply redefined how much of herself she chose to share. By showing real moments instead of polished images, she took control of her narrative. She allowed people to see her as a whole person, not just a performer. Her family life also reflected balance. She did not present motherhood as effortless or perfect. Instead, she embraced its messiness. This honesty resonated with many who saw themselves reflected in her experiences. It added depth to her public image without overshadowing her professional achievements. Marriage to Ben McKenzie brought stability and partnership. Their relationship appeared rooted in mutual respect and shared values. Rather than fueling speculation, their life together gradually quieted it. Over time, the focus shifted away from past scrutiny and toward a sense of calm continuity. But while her personal life stabilized, whispers about her career direction began to surface. Why do her shows keep getting cut short? As Morena Baccarin's career moved forward, a quiet pattern began to form. It was not loud, and it was not dramatic at first. It appeared slowly across different projects, different networks, and different moments in time. Again and again, she delivered thoughtful performances in television shows that earned praise and strong audience loyalty. And again, those shows ended earlier than expected. Firefly was one of the earliest examples. The series gained admiration for its world-building, strong characters, and emotional depth. Morena's role stood out for its grace and intelligence, and her performance became deeply loved by viewers. Yet the show did not last long. Its ending surprised fans and left many feeling that the story had been cut off before it could fully grow. Even as the series gained a cult following, its cancellation became one of the most talked about decisions in television. Years later, a similar situation unfolded with V. The show brought Morena into a leadership role that required subtle control and layered emotion. Critics noticed her ability to make a powerful character feel calm and threatening at the same time. Then came the end game. The series placed Morena at the center of a tense and intelligent narrative. Her character was sharp, strategic, and commanding. The show leaned into complexity and asked viewers to pay close attention. It was not simple or predictable. Despite its ambition and the attention given to Morena's performance, the series was canceled after a short run. As this pattern repeated, fans began to notice. Online discussions started to ask questions. Was this a coincidence, or was something deeper happening? Morena was clearly respected for her work. She was trusted with difficult roles and central characters. Yet these projects struggled to survive in a television landscape that often favors familiarity and quick results. Some began to wonder if Morena was drawn to risky material on purpose. Her career choices showed a clear interest in stories that asked more from the audience. These were not shows built around easy answers or surface-level drama. This kind of storytelling can be deeply rewarding, but it does not always align with fast-paced viewing habits. What made the pattern especially striking was the consistency of her work. There was no sign of decline in performance or effort. Each role showed focus and care. Each character felt fully developed. The cancellations did not reflect a lack of quality. Instead, they highlighted a disconnect between creative ambition and industry realities. The Deadpool mystery and the power of staying silent. As the Marvel Universe expanded and Deadpool returned for a third installment, fans immediately turned their attention to Morena Baccarin. Her role as Vanessa had become iconic in the first two films, blending humor, toughness, and emotional grounding in a chaotic superhero world. Naturally, speculation about her return for Deadpool 3 grew rapidly. Social media was filled with theories, fan discussions, and endless predictions. Every interview she gave, every public appearance, became fuel for the conversation. Yet, Morena did something unusual in an industry that thrives on teasing, reveals, and leaks. The curiosity around her absence or presence became part of the marketing without her participation. Audiences speculated endlessly. Was Vanessa returning? Had the writers decided to protect the character for a big reveal? Could her storyline be rewritten entirely? Or was she quietly retired from the universe? Morena has repeatedly moved from television drama to science fiction to big blockbuster films, and even to leading roles in short-lived but ambitious series. Each step in her career has been calculated yet brave, often balancing risk with strategic growth. In this context, her silence around Deadpool 3 became a continuation of that approach. She was not reacting to speculation, she was shaping it, demonstrating that timing, reveal, and restraint can be as powerful as any announcement. Fans could not help but notice how this strategy mirrored her earlier transformations. In Firefly, she built a character whose calm exterior hid complex inner motives. In Homeland, she portrayed emotional restraint under extreme stress. In Deadpool, she balanced humor and danger with authenticity. Now, off-screen, her quietness became a meta layer of performance. She allowed curiosity, attention, and fan energy to swirl around her without losing her footing or revealing herself prematurely. In Hollywood, where actors often become trapped by their statements, this choice gave her rare freedom. It allowed her to protect her work, her character, and her personal strategy simultaneously. The fan response was electric. Social media exploded with theories about her character's future, whether she would return alive, in flashbacks, or in a surprising twist. Each rumor spread faster than the last. Some speculated on narrative surprises, others considered emotional payoffs or shocking betrayals. The conversation became almost a game between the actress, the writers, and the audience, a three-way dance fueled entirely by curiosity and restraint. In doing this, Morena reminded audiences of a subtle truth. Transformation does not always require a public declaration. Careers do not need constant explanation, and not every role or decision must be dissected immediately. Sometimes the quiet, patient approach creates more anticipation, more impact, and more respect. Fans were forced to wonder, to imagine, and to remain engaged, all while Morena remained unshaken and centered. Her restraint also spoke volumes about her personal growth and professional confidence. She no longer needed validation through public statements or reactions. She could let the work, the character, and the story unfold organically, demonstrating mastery over both her career and her public narrative. In an age of overexposure, this silence was both refreshing and powerful. In doing so, she kept fans engaged, the character's fate uncertain, and her professional image firmly in control. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.